But anyway, on to this next thing, man. HBO put out a documentary. I know you don't have a list of things that we're gonna talk about,
I
but
don't. I'm just letting you do it.
um, it's called Quiet on the Set. It's about
Nickelodeon child stars.
Nickelodeon child stars and the dark side of it. Um, Nickelodeon did a terrible job. Let's start there by who they hired
Mm-hmm.
and who they like how they vetted these folks because me in looking at certain things, I have a I have a big heart for children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because children are the species of beings that don't ask to be here, but we have to make sure that children are protected.
Mm-hmm.
As the adults, a lot of times the older kids got to look out for the younger kids because we understand in the society that they can't really take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So um basically this documentary put a spotlight on the kids that needed to be protected the most. And not saying that one is better than the other one. This boy cut off the lights. One is better than the other one, but it's a matter of us understanding um fame, right? Or the meaning of fame.
He took it back on.
Yeah, it's tough.
Each part, and I haven't watched the part 4 yet.
Oh, you have it?
Mm-mm. I went to bed after part 3. Like I watched parts 1 through 3 back to back,
Yeah.
and then I was like, I can't take this anymore. I have to go to bed. So I couldn't. I didn't finish part 4, and I didn't watch it at all yesterday.
it's if you look at it, right? 'Cause I watched all four parts. What?
She said, mm-hmm.
She's answering it like that's the funniest thing because I used to do that with Blues Clues.
Mm-hmm.
They be like, "Do you see a triangle?" And I be like, "Yeah."
Good
Good
morning.
morning. You made it.
You know who that
Yeah,
is?
I know exactly who that is.
Okay.
I know exactly who that is.
Not
Uh,
yet.
but
Okay.
she answers they ask a question on there and
Mm-hmm.
she answers it. Man, I
Oh,
was
okay. She said, right on cue
yeah,
with
she
what you
did.
asked.
She probably was listening to me.
Probably.
But
Oh, but what I was saying was each part is worse than the last one in the series.
right, right.
Um, Drake Bell's story really broke my heart.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart for both him, but for his daddy too.
It broke my heart for his daddy a lot.
Cause his daddy is like, I told y'all,
Yeah. Yeah.
and nobody wanted to listen to
Not a
me.
person.
And then the person that it happens to be is my son.
Hmm. And then he didn't immediately find out.
Mm-hmm.
Like stuff happened. Like he talked to his son, and his son didn't tell him that.
And you can understand why.
Right, right. But it's if we start from the beginning, like my thought sitting down was like, oh, this Dan Snyder guy
Mm-hmm.
was awful. And what it was, he wasn't the worst of the people. He was
Mm-hmm.
just a horrible boss.
Mm-hmm.
And made and it made you when you look at it, you understood like the dynamics, how important dynamics at work are.
Mm-hmm. But I read Jeanette McCurdy's book. Um, I'm glad my mom died.
Yeah,
She talked about Dan in the book, and some of the stuff that happened with her wasn't even stuff that was mentioned in the thing with
yeah,
them. Because she was like, Dan offered her alcohol as a minor on
yeah,
the set.
yeah,
And so I think that the people that spoke out in the documentary didn't have
yeah,
Drake was the biggest star
yeah.
out of everybody that was in the documentary.
Hmm.
The other people was like 1 or 2 seasons on this show, 1 or 2
Yeah,
seasons on that show, and they weren't the main character.
yeah,
With them not being the main character. She want another one.
Yeah.
Go make her one.
What is like? Are you hungry?
She obviously is hungry since she keep asking for them.
Goodness, man.
But remember, she didn't eat her lunch yesterday. She came home with her lunchbox full and what I sent her for breakfast at school because she claimed she ate school breakfast. um. So yes. Go get it from dad. Go get one from dad. A kiss. um. The stories that were told in the book about Dan, which wasn't a large section of the book wasn't about Dan, but it was touched on. And then seeing what the other kids have had to say about Dan, I'm wondering if it's worse for people who just have not come forward at all to talk about what happened. Um, like the guy, I can't remember, I think his name is Brian, black kid. Well, he's a grown man now, but he was
Uh-oh.
on the kids version of Fear Factor, whatever they called it, and the
Oh,
puppies and the
yeah,
peanut butter.
yeah.
Like that was really like, why are y'all doing this? And it's weird because we didn't watch these TV shows with this eye, which I never saw. Like whatever show Ariana Grande was on,
Yeah,
never saw
we
that
was
show.
out of that.
Yeah, never saw that show. But like the stuff that they had her doing, like laying back and pouring the water on herself,
Yeah, why was
I
she
was like,
doing
why was she doing that as a kid?
that? Yeah. And
Like I think we with what was highlighted in that documentary, we tapped out after all that.
yeah. Like it was all that. I still watch the cartoons like Rocco's Modern Life would come
Yeah,
on.
but those were I'm talking about the
Yeah.
with actual
And
people.
and to be honest with you, Rocco's Modern Life was a little edgy.
I never watched it.
Go back and watch it.
I'm not.
Cat Dog, Hey Arnold, Rocco's Modern Life. What else?
SpongeBob had some stuff in it
SpongeBob is little,
that was
but
that
I
could be
couldn't
considered.
catch him. I still can't catch him.
Miss Tillman said, I watched it and it made me so sad slash mad. My daughter watches a lot of these shows. Now Drake's dad tried and then mama fumbled the ball. She did. And you have to be like super thankful for his girlfriend's mom, who was just like, something's going on. But why did that man think that it was okay to even be calling somebody else's house like that? Because I just know my mama would have stopped this at the second or third call. Like maybe, well, back then it wasn't even butt dialing. Like, you got to stop calling me. That's just not going to go like that. Hubert said, if it ain't Double Dare or you can't do that on television, I can't call on Nickelodeon.
I remember Double Dare.
I remember Double Dare, but I don't remember you can't do that on TV.
Uh, it was another show. It was like Aztec, like Mayan something. Man, it was like a little American Ninja or American Gladiators type
Oh,
thing.
I remember that show. But it
You
wasn't
remember
something
Salute Your Shorts?
I don't think I ever watched that show.
I used to watch that. Nickelodeon that night. Used to have
I used
what
to watch Nick at Night a
Goosebumps.
lot because I'm old.
Yeah, Nick at Night was for the old people though,
That's what I'm saying.
like
Because I
Lucy and
Love
stuff.
Lucy was on there.
Yeah,
That's what I used to watch. The amount of power and control people in power are allowed to abuse is sick. It really is. Good morning, Lisa. Good
man.
morning, Tina.
The biggest thing about the Nickelodeon thing and seeing and the Dan Snyder part was his success is what was the thing that basically made him gave him so much power.
Hmm.
His success in the shows because he was the one that came up with all that. I
Hmm.
think
He was one of the creators.
one of the
He
creators
was
of all
just
that.
I think he was the forefront in getting it on the network.
Yeah, yeah. And there was another show he, was on. They talked about, but I can't remember. But it's like him having all that power, and then how he worked it with. like used it with people, like the jokes that he would say and stuff like that. And then with the two writers, the
Hmm.
female writers, um it just basically,
I remember Wild and Crazy Kids.
yeah, it just basically paved the way for pedophiles.
Hmm.
And then just to think, right, like today we would think we have to be extra careful about kids just because there are pedophiles
Hmm.
that basically will prey on children.
Hmm.
um
Like that one guy, the girl wasn't on the documentary, but her mom was.
yeah,
I think her name was Brianna.
something would
um,
be.
Maybe I don't remember what her name was, but they found all this stuff in his house, and he was saving letters, and that he had a 7-year-old's underwear.
Yeah,
Like, how did you even get this 7-year-old's
right,
underwear?
that's
Why
the
was this
thing.
child in a position that underwear could be left and
Right,
you have them?
why were you like
And I get what they were doing, which again, like, I'm happy I read Jeanette's book before this came
yeah,
out. Jeanette's book I only read because of the title.
yeah,
Cause I was like, why you glad your mama died? Like, how
say it.
bad was your mama?
Right, nobody has ever said that.
Right, like how bad was your mama? But they put the kids in a position to separate them from their parents. Like her mom did not work. She
Hmm.
was the breadwinner for her family. And her mom was driving her to all these auditions, and would show up and stay on set during the day and all of that stuff. But her mom would usually I don't want to say tell lies, but like her mom had cancer at one point, right? Or
Hmm.
at 2 points in life, she had cancer. She would use her cancer diagnosis to make the people who told her she needed to go stay in the parents' area feel bad,
Yeah.
and they would let her on set.
Oh yeah.
So you telling all these kids' parents, hey, you can't come on set, you can't do this, you can't do that. You put them in a position to lose the representative that is um
What you
there
want,
to advocate for
Lily?
them.
What you want? Okay.
You put them in a position to lose a person that's advocating for them, that's making sure that things go wrong, such as what happened with Drake,
Right.
his dad, and I can't remember the guy's name that went to jail.
Brian Peck.
Brian Peck, that's his name. Um,
Hey, Lily.
it's very scary and it's still going on today. Even though we have to be on set, they try to make you stay back, but I'm under my son all the time. I get it. And your son is like super charismatic, and also I believe that, but I can't say for certain because of his age. If he felt uncomfortable with something, I feel like he would say it to you, just by the things that, like, the little bit of time that I've been around
Yeah.
your son. Um but you're not going to get that from every kid, and you don't necessarily know if it happens with your kid.
Yeah.
But I get why you want to create the environment to not have the parents there, because some parents can be very distracting.
Hmm.
But also, would you tell a manager that they can't come?
Nah. But it's like, man, you think about it, right? Like Nickelodeon was one of the greatest ideas because it's basically TV for children.
Hmm.
You had Nick Jr. or you have Nick Jr., which have the
It's
shows
TV
for the
for even
babies
smaller kids.
that are friendly to them. And
Mhm,
there's at that time there was no competition.
mhm,
And then Disney, but majority of the people that I knew didn't have Disney. We only got it when they did the free weekends or the free days and stuff like that, and we'd be able to watch it for a few days and stuff. But it was like Nickelodeon was on cable, so
mhm.
if you had cable, you had Nickelodeon. You know,
I feel like we had the Disney Channel, but we
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 didn't
had a
have
terrible
we
cable package
we didn't have the Disney
because
channel.
we didn't have BET.
Yeah.
for a long time. Because mama was like, I am not upgrading to that
Yeah.
package. She paid for all, we had all the movie channels, but no BET.
Yeah. She still did.
Shout out to my mama.
Yeah.
She got BET
She
now.
stayed with the movie
But
channel.
hmm
Anyway, so the idea of Nickelodeon was wonderful, right?
hmm
But it's just the behind the scenes things we wouldn't see during that time because we're talking about the 90s. Like internet is just now the late 90s, the internet started picking up. But we were still mostly playing outside.
yeah.
Yeah. So
My
it's
mama was on the HBO portion of the paid
yeah.
services. She's like, y'all got Nickelodeon. Y'all
We
don't
didn't
need
we didn't have
Disney.
HBO. We didn't have Disney's
She always paid
Showtime.
for Showtime and HBO.
We never had any of those channels.
And Cinemax was only when it came
Yeah.
free for the 3-day
Yeah.
weekends at
That's
holidays
the
and
only
stuff.
time we had any of
I have
those
no idea
channels.
what Lily is doing
I
back
don't
here.
either, man. But
Excuse the child. She being 4.
yeah. We've been parents that just trying to work. Uh,
Just being 4.
but the crazy part is how
She in front of the light doing
yeah
this.
how you would think that these kids were protected in a matter because I never even thought about like certain things because if you look like you said the bigger stars
hmm
were not on this.
hmm
Kenan and Kel, um, what's her name? Amanda Bynes.
hmm
What's the big girl name?
Lori Beth
Laura
Denberg.
Beth Denberg.
Nick Cannon's not on
Nick
there.
Cannon
Nick
is
Cannon still has, if I'm not mistaken, an executive position in
yeah
Nickelodeon.
he
So I
does
know he wouldn't
yeah
have
right.
been on there.
But still, these are some of the bigger stars of Nickelodeon during that time, and they weren't participants in it. So it's like you start to think about what was the difference between them and some of the backup stars. Like
hmm
you said, the Drake Bell, him being on there, he was one of the bigger stars.
He was the biggest star that I saw
Yeah,
in this documentary.
that and basically spun off and had that's another thing that I didn't notice.
What?
All these folks were on other shows, and
So
they spun off.
that was a Dan Schneider thing
Yeah,
because Jeanette was one of the friends on iCarly.
yeah.
Like she was still a main character,
What are you doing?
but she was one of the friends. She wasn't Carly.
Yeah, right, right.
They offered her a spinoff show, and she was like, Dan would basically offer you shows to get you to do things.
Yeah,
Because remember that. Could you please stop hitting my chair? Thank you. Um, they Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. I really lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
you told her to stop hitting the chair.
Okay, that's not what I was talking about though. Stop blowing your breath in my face. That's true. VH1 is under the same Viacom umbrella, so it makes sense that Nick Cannon there. Katrina Johnson. That's what I was saying.
Who is that?
That was one of the girls that was in the documentary. She said that please stop jumping. She said that Dan offered her a show.
Yeah.
The Katrina Johnson show, but it never came to fruition for whatever reason.
She was the other girl on Amanda Bynes show, wasn't
yeah.
Yeah.
She was the one that told him about Amanda Bynes because she was doing stand-up comedy at the Laugh Factory. They had kids workshops, and she told Dan Amanda was there. Amanda was funny.
Yeah.
He should go see Amanda.
What you trying to watch?
And that's how they all like coexisted with each other. And like there's this crazy, like, I don't even want to say it's crazy. Like there's so much opportunity because child stars are needed. There's kids on almost every sitcom.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to be like a Nickelodeon star, but a child playing in a movie or a child playing in a television series are always needed because it takes the story along.
But them kids are more, I would think all kids should be protected in a manner that's like overprotection.
No. I was talking about the number of things that are geared towards kids, like having the workshops at the Laugh Factory.
Kids are
and all
part
that
of
stuff.
life.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like kids are always on shows and movies. So you understand the importance of these things. And then you have the Disney Channel and you have Nickelodeon, who are also creating things about children. So these
Mm-hmm.
children have to basically foster their talents to be on these types of shows or channels.
Yeah.
And so all of that stuff makes sense, but
Little Pixar.
it's it's like this was a small group of people that literally preyed on these innocent kids and was able to move the parents out
Out
of
the
the
way.
way.
Yeah.
And that one black mom that was on, I think Brian was her son. She was like, it drove a wedge in between her and her son
Mm-hmm.
because she spoke up about
Yeah,
things.
and he saw his opportunity.
And he ended up not being able to be on more things
Yeah.
because they couldn't get his mama to be on board with stuff. She was just like, y'all not gonna token black kid, my
Yeah.
son.
Right. Y'all are like that's the thing, man. It's like, man, you have to understand that, if your child is going to be a part of this, some of the things that comes with it, right?
hmm
But you also have to have that manner of, this is what you're not going to do.
hmm
There's a certain level of things that my child can do that I'm comfortable with,
hmm
but there's also on the flip side things that I'm not comfortable with, and that's not what we're going to do,
hmm
because my goal or my role in this child's life is to make sure that my child grows up um a productive member of society.
And a lot of these people are just like, they making money. Let me
Right.
step back.
Right. But before we go, I really felt bad. My heart went out for Drake Bell's dad.
hmm
And his mom, like, just didn't, like, I don't understand that when it comes to parenting.
hmm
Regardless of what we're going through, let's be on the same page for this child.
hmm
If I say and that was the thing, it was like it has to be more conversation about why.
hmm
We, like, me and you talk about the why of things a lot when it comes to explaining to children, but he basically told them,
He told her the why.
right. But it's like, it's a thing of, listen to his why and take it, you know,
hmm
take it like, what is the thing? Either you listen to response or you listening to understand.
hmm
Listen to understand
hmm
his why.
hmm
Because him paying attention to this Brian Peck dude and seeing, oh, okay, this dude got some pedophilia in his life,
hmm
you know, and then come to find out his child is being
He just
raped.
ran.
Yeah, I seen that. Unstable, like, but just not paying attention to what his dad said from his mom. It could have caused his son to not go through a lot of stuff.
Can you change this one?
He pooped.
Yeah. That's
Dang,
what he came over here to say. He
I
touched his
got you.
butt.
I got you.
Hmm.
Come on, man.
Bye,
You
Quad.
finna start sitting on the potty. Come on.
Um, it's just a no. Go with that. It's just a rough space to be in. And I do wish that more people or his mom had actually listened to his dad. But there's also things that his mom should have paid attention to, like the trips to Disney. It's some open ones right here. Like them going to Disney on the weekends, spending the night over there. It just got to be weird. But then he was like, I couldn't tell my mom that I didn't want to go over there anymore because essentially he was being a taxi cab for them. His mama, I don't remember if she couldn't drive or didn't want to drive. Yeah. So Tommy said that Brian Peck took on the role of being Drake's dad slash manager because his dad was managing his career, getting him the auditions, driving him to said auditions, and I still believe that his mom just did not drive, if I'm not mistaken. That's what was said in the documentary. But his mom couldn't take him to all these things, so Brian would take him, stay there. They would run lines on the weekend because Brian was supposed to be his coach and helping him, his dialogue coach, helping him run the lines, um, and things of that nature was one of the things that Brian was doing, and I'm guessing doing successfully. But he also was preying on him. He was like, in the beginning, it was innocent, and then it just got worse and worse. And until the girlfriend's mom stepped in, because Brian called, Drake was at his girlfriend's house, and his girlfriend's Brian for some reason had the girlfriend's house phone number, and he called over there like 30 times, like back to back. The phone was just ringing and ringing and ringing. And when Drake would say, "No, I'm gonna stay over here with my girlfriend this weekend," or "No, I'm not gonna do this," or "I'm not gonna do that," Brian would like get mad and keep calling back. And it's just one of those things, like, if this was happening at a third party person's house, what was going on when he was at home?
What you think about the idea of how we trust coaches?
Tommy said you have to think about the idea of how we trust coaches. I get it because
He was in the role of a coach.
yeah, a lot of
That's not
people
course.
um that's what it was.
Well,
Miss Tillman said, I don't think he drove. I think she drove. He just said he lived in Orange County and it was at least 2 hours to LA for auditions and early call time. So she would just let him stay with Brian. That's what it was. I knew it was something that was a reason that the mom wasn't um there taking him to thing. Calling someone's home 30 times in a row is insane. It is very insane. And like, as the homeowner, home renter, name on the mortgage, name on the lease, you're not gonna call my house like this. Like, what is wrong with you? It's just so crazy. But I still gotta watch the fourth part, finish it out.
actually, another episode.
Oh, it's a fifth one.
It's coming out April 7th.
Okay, so it's another one coming out April 7th. So I'll try to get part 4 and then be ready for part 5 when it comes out.
Um,
I think, are they releasing them in twos?
I don't know. I watched everything at once, so
Yeah, I watched 1 through 3 back to back. 4 was out when I watched 1 through 3,
yeah.
but I didn't make it to 3.